Hello and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. And we're delighted to have back as our guest today, Turkish journalist and commentator Sevket Erbay. Hello, Sevket. Lovely to see you and a big thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Anna. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you, Sevket. So it's been almost a month since our last show as we took a little break, and we now have some catching up to do for the events of the last 4 weeks. We'll keep it a bit short and divide it into sections by continent as well as group of disciplines, as usual. So we're going to start with road races because that's where the biggest event, recent event took place. That's the Boston Marathon, the second of the World Marathon Majors on Monday, 20 April. So both Kenyan defending championships retained their crowns, and both of them made the difference on the famous Heartbreak Hill. Sharon Lokedi won in 2:18:51, running the second half of the race more than 3 minutes faster than the first and closing 44 seconds ahead of her nearest rival, Lois Chemnung, to 19:35. But it was the men's race that was really exceptional, with John Korir closing in a spectacular 2 hours 01:52 and taking more than a minute off Jeffrey Mutai's course record. Korir's mark is the seventh fastest run ever. Now, of course, Boston is a point-to-point course, so marks do not count for record purposes. And there was also a constant tailwind helping the athletes. But still, Sevket, stunning performance by John Korir on this hilly course.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was in the commentary booth. Both Korir wins last year and
Ah,
this weekend. So I witnessed his victory in first hand on the commentary booth. Korir made up a breakup from the group around 30, I think
yeah,
30K, and produced solo run through the city without showing any weaknesses, Anna. He's so fast, and he dropped 70 seconds. Geoffrey Mutai's epic 2:03:02 mark. Then you remember, that was the best mark in the world. Not, of course, not ratified as a world record, but the
yeah.
best mark because the Wilson Kipsang in that time, the world record holder, he beat that crazy mark, the 70 seconds. Absolutely great result. Not even only John Courier ran
Yeah.
the Boston Marathon, and not easy to even the running sub 2:05 in
Yeah,
Boston Marathon
yeah,
because probably the toughest and the most tactical course in the world marathon calendar, as you know. Not only Courier, but the rest of the field were good because only second time ever top eight finishers went under 2:05 after Valencia 2024, which is completely flat course in Valencia.
yes.
This has happened second time.
Yeah,
That's why absolutely we witnessed a historic marathon. And also maybe I can add something about Sharon Lokedi's performance because Sharon Lokedi, you mentioned she produced a negative split in second half, but especially in the 35 to 40,
yeah.
she covered 14:48. 14 minutes 48. That's incredible also.
No, really, it was an epic edition of the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And as you mentioned, very, very fast results overall, especially considering the course. World champion Alphonse Felix Simbo was a distant second, but still in a great 2 hours 02:47. And he was just 3 seconds ahead of 2021 Boston champion Benson Kipruto. But Sevket, after this performance, many now consider John Korir to be currently the best marathoner. What do you think?
I guess so, but still we need to clash with Sebastian Sawe and him for the world, maybe world record try in a flat course such as Chicago, Berlin, or
Yes.
London. Then we easily can decide who is the best marathoner currently.
You're quite right. Face to face is the best way to decide.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go back now to the beginning of the month because there was a very interesting competition on the 4th of April, the Urban Trail in Lille with races over 5 and 10K. Now, Lille has acquired a reputation for fast races, and this year's edition confirmed it. Among the women, Agnes Chepengetic, who is, of course, the reigning world cross-country champion and the 10K world record holder, clocked an excellent time of 28:58, third best of all time, and 12 seconds from her own world record. So Sevket, another magnificent performance by the versatile Agnes Getic.
Yeah, Agnes is a fascinating runner, Anna. She was recorded some good races, both on track
Yeah.
and cross last year, and yet she got another title on the road. She was looking find her real rhythm on the road actually instead of other race types. If she prepared fully to marathon in the future, near future, really interesting to see what she can run in 40K, 42K, because remember she has 63:04 Canyon record in half marathon and never uh, goes beyond the marathon. Should give an idea how far she can go in marathon. Actually, I'm waiting for her first marathon after that stunning results in both 10K and half marathon.
Yes, yes, definitely. Uh, uh. Now, on the 5K race, Ethiopia's Marta Alemayo, just 8 days ahead of her 18th birthday, won the race in 14:15, ahead of compatriots Howie Abera, 14:22, and another under 20 athlete, Yenenesh Shimket, 14:24. And Alemayo's mark is not only the number 3 senior mark of all time, but it's also a world under 20 best, adding to her 3 world under 18 records, both over the indoor and outdoor 3,000 and the outdoor 5,000 meters. So Sevket, Marta Alemayo, definitely one of the biggest talents of her generation.
Yes, she is. She is. But the question mark is she's coming from Ethiopia. Because I remember many Ethiopian super talents who was brilliant until 2021 and suddenly disappear from the map. I can give many names to you, the many. Hope she will stick with the seniors. But apart from this reality, if we check the mark in such a young age, this is just phenomenal. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's true that there's always new names coming up, but some of the ones we were
Yeah.
getting enthusiastic about 2, 3 years earlier, they drop off the radar.
Unfortunately.
Uh-uh. So men's races were also very interesting. Jimmy Gressier was aiming for the world record of 12:49 by Ethiopia's Berihu Aregawi, but closed just 2 seconds off it, 12:51, leading 2 other athletes below 13 minutes. Ethiopia's Adisu Yihune, 12:54, and his compatriot Jan Schrube, 12:56. Gressier's mark shattered the European record, taking a big chunk of 14 seconds off the previous continental best by Sweden's Andreas Almgren, and Schrub, who we remember is the world indoors 3,000 meters bronze medalist, also dipped below the previous mark and climbed to number 7 of all time. So, Sevket, Gressier and Schrub, and also Andreas Almgren, have been successfully juggling between track and roads. for some of them also cross country. And they've upped their level in all disciplines.
Yeah, especially I really love in Jimmy's competitiveness.
Yes,
We saw him victorious in Tokyo in 10K among the giants, very big
yes,
athletes. Then successfully run in European cross and world cross. Then produced fastest European mark in 5K.
yeah,
As you mentioned, like Agnes Engetic.
yeah,
Uh, he's a versatile, Jimmy. So
yes,
versatile, doing everything good. And
yeah.
next, maybe trying to mountain running, which is quite big in France.
No, that's true. That would be a new challenge. No,
Yeah,
I really like Gressier. I think on a personal level, he's matured a lot since 2021, 22. And I just like uh, his thing of not taking himself too seriously. He's always up for a joke. And I like that very, very much. He's very much down to earth.
yeah,
Mm-mm. So the men's 10K saw Ethiopia's Kairi Bejiga win in 26:51, the same time he had clocked when finishing second to Almgren in January in Valencia. And that's just 3 weeks before his 20th birthday. 2 weeks later, at the 10K road race in Laredo in Spain on 18 April, Slovenia's Clara Lukan made history, clocking 29:50 to become the first European woman to run the distance under 30 minutes. Now, what's interesting is that the continental record had already been broken 3 times this year. At the beginning of January, 4 January, in Nice, Belgium's Jana van Lent clocked 30:10, smashing the long-standing official European record, which had been set back in 2003 by Paula Radcliffe and which was 30:21. Then 2 weeks later, Britain's Eilish McColgan took 2 seconds off that mark in Valencia. On 22 February, Megan Keith took another second off, but Clara Lucan in Laredo, she destroyed the continental best. So, Sevket, first of all, do you think Lucan could do it? But also, given the great dynamism in the event, because Bartocletti had also run 30:08 in Lille at the start of this month, do you think we can see further improvements this year?
yeah. Answer first questions. Actually, I wasn't expected from Clara. Most surprising outdoor performance of the year so far,
Yes.
in my opinion. I remember Clara from Balkan Indoors several times happened in Istanbul. She competed and won there Balkan Indoor 3000 meters titles. But since then, she's looking massively improved herself, and I think she won Universiade title, the FISU Games title last year, and making big finals, starting to making big finals. Uh, she's really coming so strong, and yes, we can expect another upgrade of the of this record soon. Many Europeans can go faster than probably in autumn races after
Yeah.
September.
Mm-mm. So, Shevket, I think that in general, European distant runners have really made great progress in the last few seasons, winning global medals, breaking barriers, while they had almost disappeared off the radar for a few years.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't have any specific idea what the reason is. But just to say and mention it, then I realize it's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be benefits from great deepness of European road running stops
Yes.
everywhere in the high class races they have. The Italians, French calendar, Spanish races, Germany, Netherlands, especially shorter ones.
Yeah.
Lots of great 10K or 5K races around Europe, many quality races around the continent. Maybe that's the reason. Another, the shoes, of course. can be a factor. Uh,
Yes.
the comparing with the 10, 15 years ago
Yeah.
performances, the shoes most likely.
Yeah, shoes are definitely a factor in the times, but I think there's also something of a mental breakthrough that they now believe it's possible.
Yeah, it could be a
Because I
yeah.
remember a few, okay, it wasn't roads, it was cross country, but I remember a few years ago, European athletes complaining, the Africans are going to win everything, we
Yeah.
don't stand a chance. At the same time, you had Australians and US runners who were doing well, but the Europeans had basically given up.
Of course, yeah. Nadia Batokletti, for example, is a great
Yes.
example for it.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Okay, just a final quick mention of the men's race in Laredo, where Ethiopia's Binyam Mehari, who only turns 20 in December, was attempting to break the world record, but was hampered by strong winds because, unlike Lukan, who had been shielded by male runners, he had to face the wind. The under 20 world record holder over 3,000 last year in Liévin won by a huge margin of 1 minute, but had to be content with 26:55. So let's take a quick look at the best of the other road races, and that's the 12 April Rotterdam Marathon. Men's race saw very good results and a drama, as Ethiopia's Guye Demo Adola took the win in 2 hours 03:54 ahead of compatriot Tesfaye Deriba 2:04:115 and Belgium's Bashir Abdi 2:04:19. Now, Abdi suffered calf cramps as he was in the lead and on course to improve his own European record from 2021, but he had to ease up and even stop a few times. Mekides Shimelis made it a double crown for Ethiopia, winning in 2 hours 18:56 to improve the course record. Now, as we are closing the section on road running, we need to mention that World Athletics has recently announced that from 2031, the marathon races would be cut from the World Championships and replaced by a yearly standalone World Marathon Championships alternating between men and women. So, Sevket, what do you think about this change?
Well, sometimes I was in parted ways with the World Athletics Technical Board decision in recent years, but this is okay for me. Separate World Marathon Championships is a good idea. It should be included team title as like the World Cross Championships. Previously, IAAF time they have organized Marathon Cup, if I'm wrong, in Rome
Absolutely.
87. Rome
Yes.
87 World Championships include the Marathon Cup, then so on. Then defunct the event. Uh, this could be the new edition, is Marathon Cup. During the summer days, marathon races can be hard for the athletes during the World Champs. Both
Yes.
performing in hot weather and also season planning is complexity. Now it could be easier to them. Most likely the races will be run in cooler weather. That's good. And I heard Athens will be first host. It's also nice decision.
Okay. Yeah, yes, I remember there was in the 80s a separate marathon World Cup. And you're right, the weather factor is probably the key benefit from this change. I'm not sure, though, because when it's a world championship, it attracts some strong athletes. If it's standalone, I think this will probably be a bit different because it's very difficult to compete against the huge prize money at major marathons worldwide.
Yeah, maybe they will include the race in the World Marathon Major calendar with the points and the some prize. That's could be a different perspective.
Yeah, that could be a solution. Thank you. So let's move now to stadium events. We start with this time with US and NACAC meetings. Last one, 17-18 April, Tom Jones Invitational in Gainesville. It was only a challenger on the Continental Tour calendar, but it really opened the season in earnest. 7 early world leads and some very good results, especially in the sprints and hurdles. Best mark came in the hurdles from Trevor Bassett in the 400 hurdles, of course, 47.82. But there were also good marks in the 4x4, 4x1, in the sprint relay, 37.78, and in the mile relay to 57.33. Among the women, world leads were set in the 100 meters, long jump, and again, the relays. We'll go into details in the top marks section. But by far the most interesting mark was the 100 meters women, won by Virgin Islands' Adaja Hodge in 10:77, an excellent mark so early in the season. So, Sevket, what did you think about this return at a very high level of Adaja Hodge?
Yeah, you already make a good summary of the event, Anna. Alexis Brown 7:07 and the American Quartet's 4x1 race results is very good. However, Ade Hodge's return is more important, of course.
Yes.
Because Athletics Integrity Unit recently unveiled her secret serve doping ban, which ends in January 26, I think. After that, she's on hot streak right now. Clocked 22:22 in short track 200, then 22:10 in national record in outdoor, then finally massive 10:77 in Gainesville. She will be tough cookie in upcoming summer meets, a potential medalist in Commonwealth Games probably.
Yeah.
Maybe clash with the Olympic champion there. I
Yes.
remember her from Carifte Games several years ago, where she got the Austin Seal Award there, the best athlete.
Yes.
She handled very well of doping issue, and that's for sure. A very strong return message, I think.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So a day later in the Jamaican capital, there were also interesting results at the Velocity Fest, also a challenger on the World Tour. 200 meters world bronze medalist Brian Lavelle clocked a 9.90 in the 100 meters, equaling the second fastest of the mark of the year. But also very interesting was the result in the women's race as a double Olympic champion, 100-10-100 of 2016 and 2021. Elaine Thompson-Hera, now 33, won her heat in 10.92 for her first race in almost 2 years. So, Sevket, interesting return for Thompson-Hera, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. She took a full year break in
Yeah.
2025, then back to Racing Club with sub 11. That's a
Yes.
huge mark. Is absolutely shows why she is one of the greatest sprinters ever lived.
Yes.
Now we have 1.5 year to next biggest stage on athletics in world in Beijing. I guess she proved she can make another high-class participation in Jamaican team in age of 35. Who
Yeah.
knows? But still we have time to one and a
Yes.
half year. We will see in near future how she goes where. Always exciting to watch, Elena.
Yeah. And she's on the Jamaican team for the World Relays
World
in
relays, yeah, yeah,
Gaborone next weekend. No, in 10 days. So that'll be interesting.
exactly.
So let's go back a little bit earlier and check out other highlights from the early US and NACAC meets. For April, Miramar Invitational. Highlight of the meet arguably came from Jamaica's Kishane Thompson. So the reigning Olympic and World Championship silver medalist, who ran the rarely contested 150 meters in 14.92. So while World Athletics does not officially recognize the distance, it doesn't include it in the scoring tables, it doesn't award points or compile all-time list, it does consider the mark a world best. And had Linford Christie's time of 14.97 from 1994 as the previous mark. Now, faster times have been recorded en route to 200-meter races, in particular, Michael Johnson with 14.83 during the 1996 200-meter Olympic final, where, of course, he had set the world record. And Zimbabwe's Tapiwanashe Makarau, who is the 2025 NCAA 200-meter indoor and outdoor champion, and Paris Olympics fifth, was also under the official previous best with 14.96. So Sevket, really impressive 150 meters by both Kishane and Tapiwanashe.
Yeah. Kishane is on early grip in the season with the good performance, the good indoor performances first, then nice 150-meter race in Miramar. He clocked 14.92, as you said. I watched the race several times, and I saw not focused very much. Contested there is an easy preparation, but still clocked world best. That's really impressive. For the Zimbabwean, Makaravu, you pointed rightfully, also should be praised. He ran sub-20, several sub-20s in last 2 years as one of the fastest 200 guys in double NCAA circuit in recent years. I will watch Makaravu at the African Champs in next month in Ghana. And probably Zimbabweans has several top sprinters they have. Probably Zimbabweans will be favorites in 4x1, including Makaravu. Their relay team performances will be interesting too. I checked their list. They are not entering in 4x1 in World Relays. 4x4 team was there, but in the African Champs, we will see what they will do.
Yeah, I hope so, because last year, as you were saying, in the NCAA indoor circuit, Makarau and his compatriot were always trading. They were taking the national record from each other with very, very high level races. So yes, no, that was really interesting.
Yeah, they have 3 top 10 guy in African ranking. Top 10 guy. They have 3 top 10 guy in currently in the team.
Yes,
That's a big advantage.
absolutely. So we move now to Oklahoma Throws series, which started on 28 March in Ramona and continues on and off until the 30th of May with a series of meets. So every spring, long throws converge on the small town to take advantage of the very favorable wind conditions. Mikolas Alekna, who set the world record in the discus there last year, has undergone surgery, but other top names have come to Ramona, and the results so far have been excellent. We'll mention them all in the top marks, but a few deserve a special mention here. And the first, of course, among the men is the Australia's Matthew Denny, who twice came close to his fabulous area record from last year, achieving 74.04 on 9 April and 73.58 2 days later. And behind him, Germany's Steven Richter, who just turned 23, destroyed his previous PB by well over 4 meters, landing his implement at exactly 74 meters on 9 April and 72.47 2 days later. Now, his series on 9 April was totally amazing. 69.90, 70.06, 70.00, 73.96, 70.78, and 73.15. So that mark catapults Richter to number 4 of all time. Unfortunately for the European under-23 champion, the continental record, which stood as world record for many, many years, of 74.08 by Jürgen Schulte, is just a further 8 centimeters away. Between the two, there were more shakeups in the all-time list. Slovenia's Christian Se moved to number 7 with 72 meters 61. The USA's Sam Mathis not only moved up to number 8 in the all-time list with 72.45, but that also improved the NACAC record, which had been set here last year by Ralford Mullings. And on 11 April, Britain's Lawrence Okoye moved to number 10 of all time with 71.88. So, Sevket, we will continue later with the women, but I wanted to ask you, many purists decry the conditions in Ramona, where competitions take place in a big open field, not in the stadium, allowing throwers to benefit from what critics call a wind tunnel. What is your opinion about the Ramona Throws series?
Yeah, actually, I'm following it curiously, but not celebrating Ramona results. I don't want to say I'm suspicious, but at least I can say, as an athletics fan, I'm not happy with it.
Yeah.
Last year, I realized what wonder in there. Then I made a research. I saw the place and some magical conditions out of in out in the sticks. Yes, technically there is nothing against the rules, but we can see that Ramona offers a geographical advantage such as wind flows.
Yes.
We can see almost every single contestant having enormous gain in their marks, and it's gave them a kind of unfair advantage on the world list because majority of the athletes would not have a chance to throw there. When you check the world list in last 3 years, many top marks recorded at the Millikan Field in Ramona.
Yes.
I don't know what World Athletics can do, but it must be discussed in the technical board for sure.
Yeah. Now, it's true that the conditions are special and that there are athletes who perform very well in Ramona, but don't confirm it, don't come near confirming it in other events. Some, however, are you take Christian Se, he hasn't thrown that far, but he's been over 70 meters a bunch of times. But yes, some of them do raise questions.
It's remembering me the Eliud Kipchoge's helped the special marathon event in under the
Yeah,
2 hours.
the sub 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
kind of.
It is a bit like that. But whatever the criticisms about conditions in Ramona, I find Richter's mark especially interesting because he's only 23. Now, of course, Mikola Salekna is just 7 months older. So I think they can both be expected to continue to progress in the coming years, hopefully not only in Ramona.
Yeah, Mikolas Alekna also currently is a star.
Yes.
Yeah, not the upcoming thrower, but Steve Richter is made a huge breakthrough here. Yes, Germans trying to get back their national event, I guess, because they
Yeah.
lost their prime position after Robert Harting,
Yes.
previously Lars Riedel, then Robert Harting. Steve Richter is giving some hopes to Germans, I think.
Yes.
However, he needs a good high-class podium at the big championships. We will see what he does in Birmingham in future in August. Then we can discuss about his future and end of the season more accurately, of course.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to confirm in I would call it an official setting. uh, uh. So there were also excellent results among the women. Valerie Zion, previously Alman, had suffered a rare defeat on 9 April to the Netherlands' Jorinde van Klinken, who snapped the Americans' win streak, which had lasted since the World Championships in Budapest. But Valerie was back 2 days later with a huge 73 meters 10, just 42 centimeters shy of her NACAC record from here last year, as Van Klinken also threw a huge PB of 70.99, 3.5 meters more than her previous best, and compatriot Alida van Dalen achieved 69.17. So, Sevket, a rare faux pas for Valerie, but she was right back on top shortly after.
Yeah, the look at the marks, Anna. It's a crazy marks. It's every single contestant, just crazy. I think the loss was not bad for the Olympic champion because
Yes,
it reduced winning streak pressure on her
yes,
shoulders.
yes,
In the end, she would easily accept a defeat in such a competition instead of a loss in Diamond League or World Championships or Ultimate Championships.
yeah,
That's why it's not so bad. She's such a consistent thrower.
yes,
Remember, she has 7 year streak with 70-meter plus performances. That's massive. 7 consecutive years. That's first time happened in athletics history, Anna. First time. No other women to have such a consistency. And theoretically, Valeria still has to go with the stick because she's still 31.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's she definitely is an amazing performer. So yes, we can expect a lot more from her in the coming years.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, other than Ramona, there were other great performances in the throws elsewhere. On 2 April in Austin, Texas, Canada's Cameron Rogers improved her own NACAC record in the hammer throw to 81 meters 13, adding 61 centimeters to the mark she had set when winning the World Championships last September. And on 3 April in China, at the National Training Base in Chengdu, Zhao Jie, the silver medalist behind Rogers in Tokyo, added 55 centimeters to the 2014 Asia record, bringing it to 78 meters 22, and finally taking from her compatriot Wang Zheng after she had twice come within 8 centimeters of it in the last 7 months. But now, very quickly back to the US. At the end of March, the traditional the 10,000 meters race in San Juan Capistrano saw Germany's Mohamed Abdullahi win the men's race in 26:56:58 ahead of Australia's Kai Robinson, and Robinson's mark of 26:57:07 improved the Oceania record, taking almost 13 seconds off the previous continental best set in the same race 2 years ago by his compatriot Jack Rayner. Now, a quick mention for the Carifta Games, held from 4 to 6 April in St. George's, Grenada. Very best results of the competition came from Jamaican sprinter Shanoya Douglas, who clocked 22:11 in the under 20 200-meter final, which was then the fastest time of the year among the seniors, and ties number 3 on the under 20 all-time list, a mark which had been set by Alison Felix. So Sevket, Douglas really stood out at this year's Carifta Games.
Yes, Shanoya was the star of the games, and she's selected best athlete of this year's edition. When I watching the games from World Athletics live stream, I predicted before the final, I predicted she can run 22-2 in the final. She could do way better than I thought. Started amazingly good and won race by massive lead over a second lead. It was 1.25 second gap over teammate Natris East in 200-meter race. Uh, Crazy. And
Yeah.
she graduated from Carifta School, if we mention it school, with a 10 golds in 3 years. Just 3 years, she collected 10. Not many Caribbean stars to achieve such.
Yeah.
I checked my statistics and she joined such names Natoya Gould, Sherika Jackson, Usain Bolt, and Isha McLaughlin among the best of the Reach Carifta history. That's why Shanoya Douglas is doing very well this year and last year also.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in addition to Douglas, there were also, as you may expect, excellent results in the relays. Under 20s, Jamaican women ran a fast sprint relay with Renisha Edwards, Tiana Marshall, Natrice East, anchored by Shanoya, 43.76. Men's mile relay, that was really interesting because there was a surprise as Barbados took a clear victory over Jamaica in 3:05:49. Nadal Seal, Adrian Moore, Jake Brewster, and Shamari Greenwich Lewis. Among the under 17s, again, top results in the relays, both among the women. Bahamas under 17, 44-21, ahead of Jamaica. They moved to number 4 on the under 18 all-time list. In the mile relay, very good mark this time by Jamaica, under 17. It's better than number 12 on the under 18, but Jamaica under 17 already have number 2. Now, Sevket, Bahamas, of course, is also known for its sprinters, but Barbados winning over Jamaica is really a surprise.
Yeah, quite surprised. But Barbados, I checked now the championship results. Barbados got 5 golds, Anna, in the whole championships. That's a very big result for
Wow.
Barbadians. They passed Bahamians in the under
Ooh,
20 level and 11 total medal in the under 20 and several ones in the lower level, under 18, under 17. Barbadians also they produced some good results in the throws.
yeah,
That's really interesting. Yeah, I remember only Barbadians, the Obadele Thompson in the
yes, yes.
several years for to early 2000s, but they are coming to the good challenge for the Jamaicans and not the Jamaicans maybe, but the Trinidadians and the Bahamians with the
Yeah.
second place in the Caribbean region.
Oh, that's really interesting. I hadn't checked, the recent trend in performances from Barbados. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries.
Now we move away from North America, Central America, and Caribbean. Nothing dramatic has been happening in Europe, but Africa showed some excellent results. And the very best came from Botswana's 400-meter world champion, Busan Colin Kebinachipi, who on 3 April at the national championships twice clocked 9.89 in the heats and in the final. Now, that was not only a world lead, and it still is, it was a huge improvement of his PB, which used to be 10.62 from 4 years ago. But it also means that Kebinat Shipi becomes only the 4th man to run sub 10 in the 100 and sub 44 in the 400 meters. Now, the full list is here for those who made it and those who didn't. Now, Sevket, I'd like you to comment on this chart.
Simply perfect, Anna. It shows very clear picture. You can see Kebi's potential, the current position on history in the chart. No need to say more. Biggest surprise on the list, I think, is Michael Norman because his marks is so impressive, but he could
Yeah.
not able to translate this achievement to the big medals. Never.
Yes.
Interesting. I also pick Busan Koli Kabinashipi's counterman, Letsile. I
Yes.
guess he will be added shortly his name to the elite who completed triple because let's see less missing mark sub 44 right now because he got 44.29. I think this year probably he will be run under 44 and that's completion, which means completion with the only made by Van Niekerk, Norman, and Fred Curley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, Letsile ran the 44:29 at the start of the year 2 years ago.
yeah, 24, yeah, not
Exactly.
not last year.
So, right, it wasn't early marks. In a way, it's more difficult to have very top level results, even though in Gaborone they had, national championships. They take place in early April, so the season is a little bit different. But still, you're quite right. That 44:29 by Letsile Tebogo says a lot about what he can do, and I also believe he'll soon join the four others who are under 10 in the 100 and under 44. And
Yeah, Busan,
Busang is 2008
Busan
in
also,
the
yeah, very
200.
very much Birch in
Yes,
2008. That's also
yes,
very close. But I
yeah,
also mentioned Letsile, that not so far.
exactly. So those two,
Both Botswanans going under maybe same time, same year. That's impressive.
yeah, yeah, I really see them both having the full set of under 10, under 20, and under 44 soon. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
So let's have a very quick look at Australian meets. Well, Oceania, but the performances are all from Australia. World Athletics Continental Tour circuit had kicked off with the first gold meet, the Maury Plant meet in Melbourne on 27-28 March. Cameron Myers ran a convincing 3:30.42, and the young middle distance runner then followed it up with an even better time of 3:29.85 2 weeks later at the Australian Championships. But the Australian Championships, 9 to 12 April, the star of that event in Sydney was, however, standout sprinter Gout, who stormed to a world under 20 record of 19.67 in the 200, taking 200ths off the mark of the official mark set by the USA's Arion Knighton in June 1922, because the American had also run 19.49, also the same year, but that mark was not ratified. So Sevket, Gout has been touted as the new Usain Bolt for over 2 years now, and this performance could be the start of a really great career.
Indeed. When I saw him a couple of years ago, I thought he has some magical power, as every athletics fan can see. Even he still has got to do on starting phase very badly still, but he got 19.6 currently.
Yeah,
As we can label him Brisbane 32 project.
yes.
I'm really curious about where he can go far since then that year. I'm almost sure he can break 1919 in 200 meters.
Wow. Wow. That's
Big statement.
yes, big statement. Thank you, Chef Kate. Now, remaining in Australia, which I know is a country very dear to your heart, let's talk about a very special competition held on grass over 120 meters with top athletes competing off scratch, the annual Stowell Gift, which this year was held on 6 April and saw 2023 100 meters world champion Sha'Carri Richardson win the women's race to become only the third women to win this race off scratch. Now, Sevket, tell us about this race and why it's so special.
Yes, travel gift is a treasure, Anna. Athletics is meaning tradition for many ways, as you know, and Aussies preserving it brilliantly. It's almost 150 years Easter festival in the Victoria, rural Victoria. Is that's not so far from my beloved Melbourne, Stouffville. And most beautiful thing out of there is a participation because many local amateurs run in there and celebrates the athletics culture for 1 week long festival. And there's some big stars making event more popular, of course. Previously, Katja Freeman famously won there from 40-45 meter handicap in 400-meter race. Now, Shaka Richardson made a great debut
Yeah,
in Stowell Gift. She won the sprint, I think, coming from 10 meters back uh, with the handicap. It's
yeah,
very unique format and not easy to adapt for the professionals.
yeah.
Chris Coleman did not advance the final, for example.
That's right.
So nice. So nice to Shakari to tune up in the beginning of the season. That's very good starting phase for her.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Thank you, Chef Kate. So let's move now to race walk. On 12 April, the World Race Walking Team Championships were held in Brasilia. Now, I may be a little bit harsh, but I felt the races were not as fast as could be expected at the top event for the discipline. I would like to highlight two performances. The first is the win in the marathon race walk by Ecuador's Paula Milena Torres, the 2025 World Championship bronze medalist at 35K, signed the best performance of the championships in terms of result score with 3 hours 24:37 to win by over 1 minute ahead of her rivals. And the other highlight for me was the silver medal in the half marathon race walk by Ethiopia's Misgana Wakuma behind Italy's Francesco Fortunato. Now, Misgana, who had placed sixth over the 20K at the Paris Olympics, thus signed the best result by an African athlete in race walk after the bronze medal earned by Tunisia's Hatem Gola in the 20K at the 2007 World Championships. So, Shepket, what did you think of the World Race Walking Team Championships?
It was nicely organized event, Anna.
Uh-huh.
I just have a chance to watching live half marathon races because I have some something to do before. I missed the marathon races. Kimberly Garcia has won the event, the half marathon, as a favorite. And Francesco passed Caio Bonfim in the men's race. Is a hot
Yes.
favorite, Caio Bonfim, and he underlined Italian power in the event because
Yeah.
recent years Italians has got very much achievement, including the Olympic golds. But mostly, I admired Ecuadorian Paula Torres in that day.
Yes.
Tokyo 2025 bronze medalist Torres, as you remember, never officially walked in 42 before the race.
Yeah.
And she said she also competed in the national championships in 20K half marathon distances, but just before the race, just changed the event. But contested highly and won in Brazilian capital, Paulo Torres. She
Yeah.
clocked 3 hours 24 for 37 in the finish and led the Ecuadorian team to the title as well. And of course, Coach Andres Chocho was the happiest man in Brasilia, I think, because he managed two victories in women's side, both
Yeah.
Coach Kimberly and Paula.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the summary
Mhm.
of the weekend, in that weekend.
Thank you, Chef Kat. So to conclude the quick review of the event, let's take a look at the medal table. People's Republic of China and Japan both have 3 golds. total of 6 medals for China, 5 for Japan. Italy and Ecuador have 2 golds. Italy has 5 silver and a total of 8. Ecuador 1 and 1 minor medals. Then Peru and Ukraine have 1 gold each. And after that, Spain, Australia, Ethiopia, Mexico, and Brazil all won minor medals, with Spain taking 2 and 2 for a total of 4. Now, Sevket, do you have additional comments about the medal table?
Yes, maybe Spain is looking standing lower position than their past because they're standing top, one of the closest top
Yes,
before. But we should add a note there because Spanish team was not in the competition with their best selection.
yes,
They've competed there, such with the sub absentees, including Maria Perez. And
absolutely.
and Italian team, the total 8 medal was historic. I checked to data. They have always gold medal at the World Cup, always 1 gold, 2 total medal, doesn't matter, but not that much. The 8 medal is
Yes.
greatest ever result for the Italy.
Yes, that's true. And as you said, I think we should underline not only Ecuador, but good performance for South American countries. Kimberly Garcia of Peru, of course. Mexico also won a silver medal. Brazil, 2 bronzes. Maybe they could have done a little bit better
Agree.
at home. But as you said, Spain didn't bring their best and therefore were not at the top. Uh-uh. Okay,
And
just to
of
finish on
course,
the race. Sorry.
yeah, of course, we can mention the African medal. Miskana Bakuma is a historic one.
I know I was so thrilled because I've been watching him over the last couple of seasons doing better and better, because before it was okay, in the back in the days it was Tunisia's Hatem Gola. Then we had a period in which Kenya's Samuel Gatimba, he regularly finished in the top 8.
Top 8.
But now, silver medal for Wakuma, I was really happy with that. And of course, that he was in shape, he had showed it clearly 2 weeks earlier when he had set the African 10,000-meter race walk record at the national championships in Addis Ababa on 28 May. So, really good. So, that concludes our quick review of the events of the past 4 weeks. We normally at this point embark on the global review of the sport and check all best results since the last show, but we're going to do that, record and post it separately this time. There's only just one stat which I'd like to discuss here, and that's the top senior marks of 2026. Among both men and women, we've had 3 new entries in the last month. In the among the men, 2 of them are from Ramona. Matthew Denny with 74.04 moves to number 3. That's worth 1,319 points. And only Mondo Duplantis with his 6 meters 31 in his home meet in Uppsala and 6:25 in Torun do better. Stephen Richter moves to number 5. That's worth 1,318 points. And then another mark, the 73.58 by Matthew Denny, is also in the top 10. Among the women, Valerie Zion with her 73 meters 10 in Ramona moves to number 1. That's worth 1,313. Into 2 is Agnes Ngetic with her 10K mark in Lille. Now, 10K had so far dominated the best women's performances. And then the mark of 70 meters 99 by Jorinde van Klinken, worth 1,274, also moves in the top 10, just ahead, 2 points ahead of Keely Hodgkinson's world record. So we continue, however, with our stats section because I'd like to hear from our guest, who, as well as being journalist and commentator, is also very much interested in the statistics of our sport, as is clearly shown on his Athletics Podium website. So, Sevket, you've been working for a while on historical African rankings and recently completed your latest work, the compilation of African top lists from 1970 to 1925. So, please tell us about this research and what motivated you to undertake this massive work.
Okay, thank you for your compliments. I always believe that Africa is a core of our beloved sport. The colors of African nations giving amazing stories to athletics culture in the past, present, and probably future. But beyond that, I just want to pay my respect to some great dedication to the African athletics. We have African Athletics Annual today since 17, thanks to idealistic enthusiasts such as Pierre-Yves Pinot from France and Walter Abmeier from
Yes.
Germany, who recently passed away. Rest in peace. This file will be a reminder of their works in the past and dedicated to them. Also, my friends from all over the world, especially Michel Mazet from France, helping me a lot. I'm still trying to find some missing lines, and then I will publish it as a digital book, as a free book. And first, I'm focusing on men's book first, which contains all top 10 marks since 70 in every event. Then I will try to complete the women's edition as well in the future years. I don't know when. But first, I'm focusing on men's book. It's up to
Right.
500 page something.
No, I was looking through it in the last couple of days, and I mean there are some really interesting stats. I was
Yeah,
looking at the section of the athletes who placed top 10 in Africa. Now, at the top of the list, and I remember him from several African championships. Thrower Chris Harmse of South
yeah,
Africa. He was
yeah.
competing in both the discus and the hammer, but between 1995 and 1919, he had 33, he was 33 times in the top 10. That's
That's
totally crazy.
crazy, crazy. He got 10 consecutive African championships
Yes,
medals, something like that. Crazy. Chris Hunt
yes,
is a really giant, is
yeah,
a physical giant and also
yes,
the sports giant for African athletics and South Africa. He's native and some of the great names in the same list as you know, the Frank Fredericks, Haile Gebrselassie, Kenenisa
yes,
Bekele, in the very different names. I'm really impressed with the African athletics
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
deepness in the
Yeah, number
28.
three, Frank Fredericks, 29 times in the top 10 between the 100 and 200. But I think also what deserves to be pointed out is athletes who were only competing in one event, and they're both hammer throwers. Algeria's Hakim Touimi, between 1981 and 99, 20 times in the top 10, and Egypt's Mustafa Al Gamel in the same event between 2006 and 2005. So, really impressive.
Yeah, Mustafa El Gamal is his current leader.
Yes,
Probably it's up to 21, 22, 23, maybe, because
yes,
he is 88 born, I think, still not turned into 40.
yes.
We have still several years with him.
Yeah. And another one which I found extremely interesting is the list of the top 10 athletes over 400 meters in Africa. Because what's really interesting there is to see changing countries at the top. So
Yeah.
we start in the early 70s. Number one in 1970 was Azati from Kenya, and he was not only number one in Africa, but number one the world over. And in those years, you had always a minimum of 4 Kenyans in the top 10, and there were 7 of them in 1973. Then Kenya continued to have number ones in the early 90s. 1980s, they also had 3 to 5 athletes in the top 10. It went a little bit lower later, but they still had a number one in 21 and 2001 and 2003, Ezra Sambu, and in 18 and 19, Emmanuel Korir. Then look at South Africa, starting from 92, because of course before they were banned. They also had 1 or 2 in the top 10 between 92 and 97. They had 3 in 1999, including number 1 and number 2, 4 in 2000, including number 1 and 2. They had 5 in 2001, though it was the year of Gary Kikaya, so they didn't have number 1. Then you look at later times, 5 of them in 2011, 4 in 2012. Of course, Wade van Niekerk being the number one,
RIPC.
not only in Africa, but also in the world between 2015 and 2017 helped. And then Botswana, who was not in the top 10 until 2006. They had 1 athlete from 2002 to 2006, California Molefe. Then they started to move up. In 2014, Isaac Makwala was the number 1 on the continent. In 2021, they had 5 athletes. Already the year before, they had 4 in 2020. In 21, they had 5 athletes, and Makwala was back in number 1. And of course, last year, they had 3 in the top 10 with Kebinat Shipi number 1. So I think that's really interesting because it shows how the strength of different countries has changed.
Exactly. That's why I'm aiming to this book because I'm also very much liking this follow through with the countries
Yeah,
and the traditions through the years. As you mentioned and counted very well, starting with the Kenyan powerhouse, then changed to Nigeria, then changed
yeah,
to South Africa. South
yeah.
Africa now a little bit weakness, then got the button to Botswana, and really nice view with the stats throughout the years. And I hopefully finished with I'm finishing with the book we can see all the materials from every single event in different stories and different countries and different names, of course.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I love statistics because there are so many great stories. It's not dry figures. There are so many things that you can learn, and from examining the figures, it's really fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-uh. So a big thank you, Shevket, for this project.
Thank you. No worries.
Mm-mm. So let's look now at upcoming events as we reach the end of our show. So Drake Relays started in Des Moines, Iowa yesterday. Penn Relays are starting today. 24 April is the Kip Keino Classic Continental Tour Gold in Nairobi. 25 Saturday is the Korzeniowski Warsaw Race Walking Cup. 26, of course, is the London Marathon, the third of this year's World Marathon Majors. But there's also top events in Madrid, Beijing, Dalian, and Gifu, always on the roads. 26 April, Botswana Golden Grand Prix. That's a Continental Tour Silver. And 2 days later, the Simbine Classic in Pretoria, also silver. 2 and 3 May, World Relays in Gaborone. 3 May, top marathons in Prague and Cali. Doha Diamond League meeting was on the 8th, but has been postponed to 19 June because of the bombing going on in the area. 8 May, Podebrady walking event in Czech Republic. 10 May, marathon in Rabat. 12 to 17 May, African Championships in Accra in Ghana. 16 May is now the start of the Diamond League with the meet in Shanghai. It's also the date for the Gran Premio Internacional de Rio Mayor racewalk event in Portugal. 17 May, Seiko Golden Grand Prix in Tokyo. 18 to 22 May, Oceania Athletics Championships in Darwin. 21st to 23 May, Kenya Trials for the under 20. Championships have now been moved forward to 26, 27 June. Second Diamond League meeting in Xiamen on 23 May. Also a race walk event, Premio Cantones de A Coruña in Spain. 23 May, we have 2 more Continental Tour Silver, the Felix Sanchez Classic in Santo Domingo and the LA Track Festival in Los Angeles, as well as the European 10,000 meters Cup in La Spezia, the Tucson Elite Throws in Arizona, also a Continental Tour Silver. Following day, Internationales Pfingstsport Fest in Rehlingen, Germany. 24 May, marathons in Cape Town, Lima, Ottawa, and Langzhou, China. 27 May, Canarias Athletics Invitational in Tenerife. 27-28 May, JBL Jump Festival in Košice, Slovakia. 28 May, Trondheim Games in Bergen, Norway. The following day, Irena Shevchenko Memorial, that's a Continental Tour Gold in Bydgoszcz. 29 to 31 May, Ibero-American Championships in Lima, in Peru. 30 to 31st May, the first top combined events Tour Gold meet in Götzis, the mythical Götzis. And 31 May, Rabat Diamond League meeting, as well as the Goldenes Oval in Dresden, Germany, marathons in Launceston, Australia, Jilin, China, Porto Alegre, Brazil, and the Grand Prix Internacional Madrid Marcha in Madrid. So lots still coming. So we're now at the end of our program, and it was great having Sevket with us on the show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Anna. What a long list to see in May, really. I'm a happy athletics fan right now. Until you seeing
Yeah.
you next time. Bye for now.
Yes, definitely. I was hoping to go to Gaborone, but in the end decided against it. Then I was hoping to go to Accra, but I've pulled out of that one as well. So I'll just have to watch it online, check the results. But it is a very exciting month of May, as you said.
Yeah, very very good events, especially in Accra. I'm very much waiting to
Yes.
African Championships as well.
Yeah.
Great
So
choice.
thank you, Sevket.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all for watching, and see you in 2 weeks on Love Athletics to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what's been happening in our sport over the past fortnight. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.